everyone. Good evening to the world. I am Cameron Holzman.
I'm Jay Burns.
That's Jay Burns. And we are, of course, your Full Metal Classic commissioners here to talk about the Snowball Classic tournament. We have been teasing it for months, or it might be month. It might be a single month. I don't remember when we announced it. But we're teasing it for a while, and the time has come to announce the matchups and to announce who will be playing who in this tournament. So, people who have all won 2 or more matches this year, we've got all their names on a lovely, very, very jam-packed wheel over here. It's very hard to read. Before we spin the wheel, Jay, do we want to run them through the list of names that we got? I do have them all set on here in case you don't remember them all.
Yeah, go ahead. Break it down.
All right, so we have got Mr. Brian Michaels, team's champion currently. We've got Mr. Jake Marangoni, the man who has tried many a times and has come up short to claim any sort of championship, but could do it here. We've got Caleb, the little boatman, who's
105 years old.
He's either 5 or 95, we're not sure. We've got Joshua Vasquez. We've got Caleb, the King Coho. With his,
How he got 2 wins and I didn't, I'll never know.
We've got Mr. Ethan, the Big Easy Beller, who got 3 because I accidentally let him in a couple weeks ago. We've got Mr. Kirk Kawakowski, my rival, the man who is the bane of my existence. We've got Mr. Corey Quinto. We've got Mr. Dustin Mason. We've got, of course, Jeremy Adams. We've got Mr. Andrew James Barr. Mr. Brandon Dunlap. Mr. Mark Aiden Kameyer. Sean Wasserkrug. Douglas Castle.
Cassell.
John.
Cassell. He whined about it the other day. Didn't whine about it, but he made a point that we were all mispronouncing his last name. So,
Don Mariano, Dominic Rizzi, Antonio Chavez, Nick Carley. And we started with one half of the team champions, and we end with the other half, Joseph Olivas. So that is our list. So basically, what's going to happen? This wheel, get 5 names. That's one match, and then we'll message you guys and try and figure out a time that works. Even
we'll do that 4 times.
Even if it's not Sunday or Thursday, we're going to have some live classic matches happening when it works. So that'll be fun. But Jay, what do you say we spin this? What do we say we spin this and just see what happens?
Well, I need to have a conversation with that wheel first and foremost. I made some pretty big promises and some boasts that I would have Brian Michaels, Dominic Rizzi, Dustin Mason, Jeremy the Adam Adams, and Caleb Lobo Boatman all in one match. So, wheel, I need you to make that happen.
Other people having bets. Jake Marangoni saying $10 that he and Jeremy are in the same match because they seem to face each other way too much. But all right, we're gonna spin her. And your
that would just be boring.
Your first name is Mr. Adams. We're half of the way there already. So we will have our second competitor,
Douglas Castle. Cassell. All right.
Glass. We will have. There's a lot of names on this wheel.
Oh, thank God. I don't want to Venmo Jake $10 right now. I'm good.
We got Dominic. We got number 4 for this match. Caleb.
Little boat. All right.
And we have got, last but not least, entering this murderer's row, we have Mr. John Mariano.
Sandman New 52. That's going to be a match.
Halloween spectacular, if I'm not mistaken, dressed as Spider John.
Spider John. That is correct.
All right, so that is our first match of Jeremy Adams, Douglas Hissell, Dominic Rizzi, Caleb Boatman, and John Mariano.
It's gonna be
number 2. If that's our first match, oh boy, we're gonna have some good.
Oh, there could be an upset in that match.
We've got Ethan Beller, first one.
Watch, he plays. Watch, Ethan plays Kirk, Sean.
We've got Josh. We've got. Who we got? Who we got? Who do we got? We got. He's saying, "All right, Jay, who do you think we got next?"
I want to see Andrew James Barr's name pop up, but I bet Dustin's name pops up on that wheel.
All right, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? We have got Jake Merritt. Jake V. Beller is happening once again, this time in Classic. And our final name in this absolutely stacked match, we have got Andrew.
Oh my goodness.
So we've got Beller v. Jake happening again. We've got Cult Classics Civil War. So that's 2 matches. We're halfway there, and we're already setting up some incredible showdowns. We got 10 names. Let's spin them and see what happens. We've got Mr. Mark Aiden Kamayer as our first name in here. Jay, who would, of the people left, who would you like to see Mike go up against?
Oh, Brian's name's still on that board, isn't it?
Brian's name is still up on this board.
Okay, I'm going to say Brian's name's going to pop up on this, and so is Mr. Wasserkrug.
Man can predict the future.
Ooh.
Brian, but we have Joseph, which would make Brian showing up a little bit more interesting. If it happens here. We got
Antonio Chavez.
Antonio, writing down so I don't have to rewatch this video 5 times. We've got Caleb. And finally, who can make this interesting? Mr. Dustin Mason. Which means our final 5 players are going to be still spun by the wheel because I feel like it. Final 5 is going to be Brian. It's going to contain also Randy Dunlap. It's going to have the one and only Mr. Nick Carley.
Yeah.
Going to have Corey Quinto. And last but certainly not least, is going to have one Mr. Sean Wasserkrug. So that's 5 insane matches. 4 insane matches of 5 people. Yeah, these are crazy. All right, so do we want to quickly maybe go through these one at a time and give predictions on who we think could potentially win these?
Of course, we have to. Right. Speculation is part of the job.
Absolutely. So our first match, we have got Jeremy the Atom Adams. We have got Douglas Cassell. We have got Dominic Rizzi. We've got Caleb the Lil Boatman. And we have got John Mariano.
I think this is going to be one of those matches to really watch out for. We've got 5 really big names in trivia right now. One of the runners of the Movie Trivia Face-Off is in this. We've got Jeremy the Atom Adams, who holds belts, who holds records, who is one of the nicest people in the leagues, but also one of the most dangerous when it comes to trivia itself. But we're also forgetting Doug, who can be sneaky when it comes to certain categories.
Absolutely,
and
for sure.
Little boat. I mean, it's the little boat, man. Tug's always got it. Gotti always comes with fire.
Yeah, and then you've got Dom, who, if anything geek shows up in that, he's got a leg up on anyone else. I'd say, I mean, the obvious the obvious person is Jeremy Adams. I think it's the easy choice. But I think Boatman, Dom, Mariano, and Douglas all have outside shots. It all depends on what the round 2 category is and what those questions are.
It really does. This is a championship match in of itself.
Oh yeah,
If all of these people were in other ones, I would probably bet on them to win. This is what's difficult about this. This is going to be a fantastic match, and hopefully our questions won't be. It's going to be a high scoring affair regardless.
Oh yeah, you've got Jeremy and Bowman, who I think if they weren't up against each other, they'd be the choices to go into that final. Match number 2 does not get any easier, folks. Ethan Beller, Josh Vasquez, Kirk Kalikowski, Jake Marangoni, and Andrew James Ball. This hurts me to see.
This is probably, these first two are really difficult for me. Jeremy is like the clear victor of the first one in a lot of people's heads. I think people are going to be looking at Ethan. I think people are going to be looking at Ethan and Jake just for the rematch factor and potential there. But we can't count out Kirk, who can come through with sneaky, and Andrew James Barr being the other half of Cult Classic. This is one I don't want to choose a winner for, but I think it's going to be.
You got Josh Vasquez, who got wins early on in the year and then has been playing well in this singles tournament we've got going on, and I think this is anyone's game, but I think I have to back up my team's partner, Mr. Jake Marangoni.
I'm gonna abstain from this one and say that this is gonna be a slugfest.
Oh, for sure. All right, match number 3. Mark Aiden Kamayer, Joseph Olivas, Antonio Chavez, Caleb Coho, and Dustin Mason.
All right, I don't mean to be this person, and I'm not trying to be a detractor here. The dark horse pick would be Caleb Coho. If he could somehow upset the Maniac and the Algorithm, it would be the upset of the century. I think this one's going to come down to Dustin. This one's going to come down to Mark, and this one's going to come down to Joseph. They've all shown really.
They've all done incredible this year.
It's gonna be hilarious. I cannot wait to see this match happen.
Absolutely. I would maybe give a slight leading to Joseph because Joseph has had some of the highest scoring classic wins I've seen. But again, this is going to be another close one. And then finally, not getting any easier, we have Brian Michaels, Brandon Dunlap, Nick Carley, Corey Quinto, and Sean Wasserkrug.
We did leave this randomly up to chance. It's all the wheel, and the wheel likes to make our jobs difficult. Personally, this one to me comes down between Sean Wasserkrug and Brian Michaels. Quinto has been a little off his game lately. You've seen it. There's been a couple of upsets. He's had several low-scoring affairs. So I'm going to take that into consideration. And Sean had some excellent polls in the last rounds, in round 3 of Classic every time he's shown up.
Absolutely.
But it's Brian Michaels. This man is the embodiment of Dan Merle in the fan leagues. This is going to be a great match. All of these are going to be fantastic, and a lot of people are going to be upset.
Absolutely. Brian, Sean, and Corey have all done very well. Brandon coming out of nowhere, getting that win in the singles tournament, and we'll see how that continues. Nick Carley was the last person to qualify for this tournament, if I'm not mistaken. And while he may not have had the highest scoring win to get that last win, that last match, in my opinion, is one of the best classic matches we've had. It was back and forth between him and a newcomer, Chris Spencer. And like Nick can hang in and he can pull when he needs to pull, and that matters.
He's got secret little niches when it comes to being able to pull certain things. Like you're like, oh, it's a romantic comedy. Boom, his wife makes him watch him. He's got that knowledge locked deep. Shakespeare, he's got that. He's got these really random ones, and a lot of the times his strategy has been secret category, and it's just the secret categories have always been really kind of like specific. So they've been tailored a little bit to a player like Swarley. So I don't think that it would be out of the realm of possibilities for him to come through. It's just all of these are going to be amazing to watch. I cannot wait to see what happens.
Yeah, these are going to be incredible. So for everyone at home wondering, we're going to be doing these live for the next couple weeks. This Sunday will, I believe, the last regularly scheduled classic match of the season. And then we're doing this tournament. And then the final match of this will be released as part of the Snowball, which will be going up at the very end of December or very early January. And then the goal is we'll probably take a couple weeks off at the end of December, beginning of January, and then we'll hop right back into it. We'll be back to 2 shows a week. And yeah. And then we'll ask how next year's going to work when we figure out how next year's going to work. But I think that's everything that we need to say.
I have nothing left to say other than, I can't wait to get these green rooms going.
Oh, yeah. So if you're one of these 20 people, we'll probably be setting up green rooms, or at least I will, in probably the next 15, 20 minutes. I'm probably just going to put this done right away so I don't forget about it, so that we have as much time to schedule this as possible. Yeah, I think with that, on behalf of everyone here at Full Metal, and specifically at Full Metal Classic, I have been Cameron Holzman.
I've been Jay Burns.
Thank you for tuning in for this special announcement, and take care, everybody. Have a good night.